You know what's cool? Podcasts. You know what's not cool? No podcasts. Check out all the podcasts over here at blindknowledge.com. This podcast you're listening to right now is a featured Blind Knowledge podcast.
Hey, Jesse.
Hey.
About time you got out here. You've been eating lunch like all morning.
That's so funny that you didn't get that notification because I sent it to you at like 11:30, and then it's like an hour later. Richard's like, "Damn, are you still eating?" Like, no.
Now recording.
The following podcast may have adult humor,
Swear words.
innuendos of a adult nature.
Making fun of me.
That's a given. Everybody looks forward to that. But just know that you have been warned. Welcome to the Blind Nights for the week of Thanksgiving.
I'm
Happy
freaking
Thanksgiving.
cold. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it is a little bit warmer here today, but you know, it is what it is.
It's like 25 here, so we can trade.
No, I don't think you'd make it down here either, though. But it's
Why? What is it down there?
It's 40 or.
Why wouldn't I be able to
50
make it
something
down there?
It's different in the South, sir. Just like I know I
Okay.
couldn't make it up there. That's why I'm staying here. But
Okay.
how's everything going for you? Pretty good.
Everything's going good, other than the fact that we got our furnace cleaned today and we had a dead bird in it.
Roast chicken.
Did not smell like roast chicken.
That depends on who's sniffing, sir. Knights of the Braille News Desk. There is some stuff on the horizon with Knights of the Braille that I really can't mention just yet because, you know, nothing is like concreted. So as soon as it becomes concreted, you know, like set in stone, then
This will be the first place you hear about it.
There is, I guess you could consider this a little bit of news. Jim and I have both been contacted by this gentleman who has things that are, I guess the best way to describe them, since I haven't felt one or held one or anything like that, is basically say they're kind of like Legos, and hopefully it's going to help map out like dungeons and grids and things like that, and waiting to get my set of them to check it out and see how it is and to give our reviews of it.
That's cool.
So really, really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's got a chance to be really interesting and really helpful for the blind community, you know. The Knights of the Braille Library. Jesse, what do you have for us?
Well, this week we're doing something a little different. I don't have a fantasy book. I don't have a horror book. I have a Christmas book. And this is a very popular book when we were growing up. Actually had a made-for-TV movie, which I think you can find on YouTube, which was actually really good too. It is The Best Christmas Pageant Ever by Barbara Nicholas or Nicholson. I can't remember which it is. And it's about the Herdmans. And the Herdmans are this family of bad kids. Like, they cause trouble, they pull other kids' hair, stuff like that. And they find out that there's a Christmas pageant and they want to be in it. And the little girl troublemaker plays Mary, and they're all in it. But it's funny because they think it's going to be the worst Christmas pageant ever, but it turns out to be the best Christmas pageant ever. It is a great story. We'll put you in the Christmas cheer. The Herdman's antics are hilarious. Like, the book begins with this house burning down, or this building burning down. It was a garage or something, and they're pretty sure the Herdmans set fire to this building, and it's just a great story. I think everybody would enjoy it. It's a definite 5 stars for me. I used to have it on audiobook when I was little, and I used to listen to it around Christmas time to like fall asleep.
Oh.
I would listen to that, and I found I actually found it on YouTube recently, an old radio version, like an old time radio version of A Christmas Carol, which was cool because, it has the static in it from the radio, but it sounded like a fireplace. So it was like I was listening to a fireplace and and the Christmas Carol at wintertime.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite stories is A Christmas Carol.
Yeah,
But
mine too.
I'm not going to put that in the book recommendations because I mean, if you haven't read A Christmas Carol, Jim,
I know the story. I've heard it. I had it like an audiobook, a bridge version. I've never actually read the actual book the whole way through. There wasn't abridged myself. So, how could Jim be British and not have read A Christmas Carol?
because he is a Grinch, like
He
a
is.
grr
I don't want to
snarl.
talk to him anymore.
He's such a Grinch.
But if you have never read the best Christmas pageant ever, I think you would enjoy it. You said you've read it, I know, but
Yeah. Mine's going to go along the lines of fantasy, but it's one that I know that I haven't mentioned, and kind of getting to the point now. It's like, have I mentioned that before?
yes, I've been there. Yep.
And sometimes I'm still in the same series, and there's no point recommending book 4 in the series when you've already recommended book 1, and if people don't like it, why recommend it? But this one is an oldie but a goodie by Stephen King, and it's called Eyes of the Dragon.
I have always wanted to read that.
It is really good. It's got one of my favorite characters of Stephen King in there, so I really like it because I love the medieval aspects of things. I love dragons and the fantasy world, and shocker, there's some fantasy writers that get on my nerves. That seem like they just copy and paste stuff. R.A. Salvatore. But
no, you liked him for a while there.
Yeah, but read them and tell me they don't all start sounding the same.
And I guess they all would when you write 30 freaking novels. You have your style,
I mean, I'm not saying they're not good, but
you can't read too many of them at once.
Yeah, they all sound the same. You have to pause and come back like 10 years later so it all sounds new again.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. But I really liked this book. I loved it whenever I read it years and years ago because of the thing dealing with the royalty and the castle. And I love reading books when there's like castles involved and there's like secret passages and secret viewing places that you can look out and watch, and it's like the intrigue of the stuff. I just love that. And while it's not my jam, like zombies and apocalypse stuff is, it's still a lot of fun. I enjoy it, but gonna move on to our
what would you rate that book? Just curious.
Would I rate it? Probably 4 out of 5.
It's one of his shorter books too. It's not like a mammoth book, I don't think either, is it?
No, don't quote me on this, but I want to think it's like 8 hours long. I could be way wrong there, but I do know it's a shorter book.
I feel like it was like that, yeah.
I mean, it's not like it, which was, I want to think like 37 hours. I think that's right. But really, really long book. I also love that book as well, but I can talk about that at a different time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe we're going to start writing down the ones that we have gone over.
Yeah.
Nah, that's putting too much
effort
into it.
We say we will, but I don't think either of us have ever mentioned something twice.
If we have, somebody will call us out on it. Phil, Stephen.
I was going to say Stephen.
But, If they don't, that's fine too. If we repeat ourselves, we're old enough and we're entitled to it.
Welcome to Termonology Tidbits.
Are you ready to learn a new word today, Jesse?
Sure.
We have the letter is E. The letter of the day is E. You probably never watched that show, did you?
What is it?
Sesame Street.
Sesame Street. Of course I did. I thought that's what it was, but I didn't want to be a dumbass and say that. And then you're like, no. I watched that every day. I loved it.
Did you really? I hardly ever watched it.
Oh my God. I would love that. And then I was never really into Mr. Rogers.
Oh no.
But
Couldn't
then
stand him.
As I got older, and I really appreciated that like whenever he would show his videos or whatever, like he really explained things.
Yeah.
And as I get older, I like him for his message.
Yeah, well the thing with Mr. Rogers though is you know why I don't know if you did know that he wore long sleeves.
That's a myth.
No, it's not. It's true.
It's not true.
So I say
Okay.
it's true, so therefore it is true.
Okay.
I will mute you, sir. See?
Anyway, the letter is E.
You sit down. Sit down. Letter
That's actually
E.
the nicest way you've said sit down to me, ever, I think. Usually like sit down.
Don't push me. Because you sat there and ate lunch for like 3.5 hours.
I did not. It was your fault for not knowing the message came in.
Not my fault you didn't send it right.
It's not my I did send it right.
Wrong.
There's only one way to send it.
You know you won't win. I'm never wrong. But the letter is E. You're always wrong. Emergency brake. Do you know what it is?
I am thinking it's an emergency bathroom break, or is it like an emergency break like you need to take a break from sessions altogether? Or am I totally off base? Is it like a break, like slow down?
No, you're really close to the truth.
Okay.
It could be really any of those, but what it is defined as is when a player isn't ready for their turn in combat, and it brings the session to a standstill, like to a halt, to like a screeching halt. There's the word I was looking for. I know you've come across that because I've been in the sessions with you. I've dealt
won't
with
name names, but you're probably thinking the same person I was.
Yeah. But and like I said, it can also be a bathroom break because we've had to do that before.
Or it could be when Jim had to do a session later because his fire alarm was going off in his apartment. He had to carry his cats down all the flights of steps. That happened in one of our early sessions.
I would have left him in there, but that's just me.
There was no fire, so.
I love animals. I would never put one in harm intentionally. But like I said, it can be a bathroom break. It can be having to stop for something like that. But you'll know, like when it comes to the whole combat thing, people not being ready.
I just skipped a turn, but
and that's what I got to where I was doing.
Yeah.
But what it does is just like in life or in a football game or something like that, you get momentum going, you get the building, and you get the, flowing really nice.
Yep.
And combat's crunchy anyway. When people ask how far am I, how's everything located?
I hate to ask that, but sometimes I need to ask that.
Oh, no.
I know, but I'm saying it annoys me to, like, I feel like everyone does that, but you just need that refresher, like.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me when somebody asks that because as a player, you need to know where am I as opposed to the enemy or, the terrain, things like that. That's fine.
Yeah.
No problem with that whatsoever. That doesn't break up.
There's people that they've been playing the game for 6 months and they don't know their sheet yet.
Yes.
Like maybe not what they have to roll, because I don't always remember, if we haven't played in a while, like what I haven't memorized my sheet, but I at least know where to find it.
Right.
What I'm looking for.
But it stalls the game out. It stalls the momentum. And speaking for me as a game master, because it happens in all of the games. Yeah, it's really frustrating, and you're like, just screw it. And it's really hard to get that momentum back and that flow going, because it throws you off as a game master, and it's one of the things that I just can't stand.
Yeah.
I know it happens, but it's just really frustrating.
And sometimes there's a good reason for it, but other times people are just certain people they're habitual with it.
Yes, they are.
Or they're like me and they're browsing Amazon and forget it's their turn. Because you gave me shit about that before, I remember.
Huh? I wasn't going to call any names out.
But I at least knew where to look on my sheet for things.
Just to let everybody know, it was 10 minutes later. But let's move on to the creature feature before Jesse tells on himself even more.
I don't have anything else to tell myself.
Just totally uninterested, huh? But
that one will never go away. I don't care how old we are. We'll be like 80 and still laughing about it.
Oh, I'm
because
sure.
Yes, I don't know if we'll still be playing games, but I know we'll still be friends when we're 80. So.
Oh yeah, we'll forget that we used to play games.
How did we meet again? I don't know.
Check out these friends of Knights of the Braille.
Hello, I'm Quinn.
And I'm Alex.
And we're a couple of characters. We discuss topics related to creating characters for role-playing games.
We talk about fun characters we've created.
And give advice about how to make your own quirky characters.
Check us out every other week, wherever podcasts are found.
The creature feature. Today's creature feature, that was kind of, as all of them, that we've had, it's really, really interesting. And I'm love going through the, monsters of the multiverse here.
Yes.
And for anybody listening, you can also, convert these into your game as well. Don't think just because it's a D&D source book that
you can change
you can't
anything.
use it. That's the beauty of tabletop games. But I'm not really sure how to pronounce this, so I'm going to ask Jesse to see what he thinks.
Oh, God. Okay.
It's Korred.
Korred?
Okay, that's how I'm thinking it said, but of course Jaws pronounces it Korred. I believe it's Korred. That's
I would think Jaws is wrong.
Yeah, not that Jaws is hardly ever wrong, but it does change some pronunciations.
Like, I don't know if we talked about it on the show or not, but I thought anime was a name for the longest time.
Yes, I think we talked about that last week.
Oh, okay.
But Goliath. Jaws will say,
Goliath.
Yeah, Goliath. And my Jaws will say sword, as opposed to sword. Not. I couldn't resist. But these Korreds are a tiny fey creature that are typically chaotic and neutral. As I believe most fey are chaotic, I'm not sure about, most of them being
Mhm.
neutral. But they are, of course, unpredictable and secretive. And what's really cool about these is that they have a um they're tied to like earth and stone. They have an affinity for them,
Mhm.
and a lot of treasure hunters and dwarves seeking, underground stuff like gems and stuff like that, seek to find them, to capture them, to use them because they can sense stuff like that. Every once in a while, very occasionally, these creatures will get together with other, like species and have like ceremonial dances.
Oh,
Um,
how nice.
yeah, it is pretty cool. If I was you though, I would not insult one of them
Oh,
because they get
yeah.
very aggressive. Um, when they're insulted
She just thought it's Katie.
or hear mining. I wasn't saying anything. Uh, they can, and this is one of their coolest features. Not their coolest, but one of the coolest. They can swim through rock.
That is actually really cool.
Yes. And it comes from their ability to basically shift stone like it's putty, kind of like Play-Doh or
Mhm.
something like that. And I thought that was just,
That is really
could
cool.
you, walking in the tunnel like, I don't see nothing. Whoa, there's a little creature looking at me. Where did it come from? That,
Yep.
I think it'd be really, really funny. It could really go for some funny spots in like
Yeah.
in a session or something. But they get a lot of strength, like an extra, almost like supernatural strength, just from touching the earth, touching the stone. Uh, yeah. And I really want to tell you this one right now, but I kind of want to save it for last. But they have hair all over their body, as in most humanoid creatures do.
Uh-huh.
But their hair on their head is magical.
Ew.
Yes.
Fancy.
And it will transform into whatever it is cut by.
That's
And
actually kind of cool.
I'll explain that in just a second. Um their anger like explodes exponentially if someone cuts their hair without their permission. Like if they were, say, unconscious or asleep or something like that. But think about this possibility. Okay, say you have a pair of iron scissors or an iron knife and you
Mhm.
cut their hair. Do you realize what their hair is going to turn into then?
Iron.
Iron. It'll do the same thing if you cut it with plastic. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that you actually can cut it with plastic, but you get my point.
Mhm.
Look at the potential there. What's your first thought of if you had one that you could
Gold.
cut their hair? Yeah. Look at the large amount of gold you could have.
Oh, yeah.
And the potential there, if you have one that'll let you, is amazing. But you can attack them. They have an armor rating of 17 natural armor. They have an average of 93 hit points. Their resistances are to non-magical attacks, which means the damage will be cut in half.
Mhm.
And they're a challenge of 7. Their 2 attacks, they get multi attacks. Are really the same, except for what their weapon actually is. It's a great club, as well as they can throw a rock that's even bigger than what they are. They both get a
Reminds me of the
+9.
Giants and the Storm King's Thunder.
Yeah. They could have fell into that campaign very easily.
Mm-hmm.
Both of the attacks get a +9 to hit, and both have an average of 10 bludgeoning damage. Do you think that's a little underwhelming? 10 bludgeoning
plus
damage?
9 isn't, but well, a little bit maybe.
Well, check this out. If they're standing on stone or on the ground whenever they either hit or
Which
throw
they
the rock,
usually will be.
their average damage is 19.
Oh.
See, that's almost double, which doesn't seem like much. But if you get hit with that and they get a plus 9 to hit, chances are it's going to be hitting you a lot. Unless you're like me or Jesse, and whenever we go to attack as game masters, we roll like crap. But
Which I notoriously do with all of my monsters, and I don't know why. Maybe when I come back to running games, I'll be better at rolling.
Yeah, create your own dice spot.
Probably not, though.
Here is the coolest feature. Are you ready for it?
Yep.
This one, I was like, whoa, that's awesome. Whenever I came across it. Each of them have at least 50 feet of their own hair cut and made into like a rope.
That's cool.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool too, but this is the cool part. They can command their hair.
Oh.
They can send it up to 20 feet away, and all of this is as a bonus action, Jesse.
You can do some damage with that.
Yeah, here's where it comes in good though. The target must make a dexterity save of 13, or they're grappled. And their hair rope has an armor rating of 20, plus it has 20 hit points. And as long as it has 1 hit point remaining at the beginning of the Korred's turn, it regains 1 HP.
Huh.
You realize what all you could do with that?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, tie somebody up. Okay, they're done. Tie somebody else up. Because at least for me, they would have at least 2 of these hair ropes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's so much you could do there.
Yep.
And it's just awesome like that.
That is really cool. Welcome to the physical table with Richard.
We didn't meet last week. Some things, happen in real life. Go figure. And we're taking this Thursday off for that holiday.
Yeah.
What is
the
it?
eating holiday?
Yeah, Turkey Day, Thanksgiving Day. So we should be meeting a week from this Thursday. But instead of the physical table, I want to talk about the virtual table this week. Played a new tabletop game with Jim and, a couple other people this past Saturday called Mork Board. Dude, I had so much fun with that game. We basically created the world in like 10 minutes and then created our characters in maybe another 10. Rolling D6s and 2D6s and, and things like that. Really, really fun game. It's kind of like Apocalypse. It's horror. Reminded me a lot of like H.P. Lovecraft. It definitely had that theme to it.
Huh.
You roll for different things and then explain how it happened, and what's the cause of it and, the effect. I rolled a D6 and mine was like something about pregnant women, and I said, well, every time that, women give birth, they are birthing a demon and they eat their own young, and from that comes the demon, something along those lines. But it's so fun. and my character's name is King Bubba Jackson. He has like so much white hair that really looks like a dwarf. His armor, he wears a wife beater and like cargo shorts, and his armor is like pots and pans and cans all like tied together and everything. But it's a lot of fun because it has that element of horror into it, kind of like like the Call of Cthulhu.
Mm-hmm.
I would say does. And everybody, if you want to go to the general channel of the Knights of the Braille Discord, you can get the bare bones free edition of this game that is accessible if you arrow down through it, although headings are all over the place. Really, really fun game. Love playing it. Looking forward to playing it again. Like I said, a lot of fun there.
Is that something you're going to do like once a month, or?
We're gonna do it whenever somebody else can't make the every other Saturday session. So
Okay.
yeah, but it was a lot of fun. And really enjoyed it. Jim's a good game master. But as we close out here, and this is the week of Thanksgiving, Jesse, give us one thing that you're thankful for.
The Knights of the Braille, and getting to play the game that starting to play Dungeons and Dragons, but getting to play any game that seems interesting, having a place to DM or game master and run.
Excellent. And as for me, I'm really thankful that I've only had a couple of, I won't call them problem players, but ones that if we just didn't see eye to eye with. But as for the most part, I've had really good players, and I've read articles and listened to podcasts where that's not always the case. So really thankful that I've had good groups. Really appreciative of that.
I think what helps is we basically have the same core group.
Yeah, I think so. But that's it. Again, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And we'll see you next week. And remember to
Like, comment, and subscribe.